Hello everybody and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope we're doing well, and today we'll be doing a box office preview for this upcoming weekend, which sees the release of Scream 5, which might finally be able to dethrone Spider-Man No Way Home from the #1 spot at the domestic box office. We'll of course have to actually wait and see if that happens, but according to early estimates, it looks like the film is expected to open to around a whopping $20 million domestically. We'll, of course, have to wait and see if this film is able to make its money back in any way as a January release, which, as we all know, is typically where films go to die. Before going any further, though, into this analysis, please make sure you smash that like button, light up that fire button if you're watching on Odyssey, and also make sure you're subscribed to the channel with that bell notification on that way you know every time a new video or live stream goes live on the channel. And also, again, I want to say thank you to everyone who has been praying for me and praying for all workers who are dealing with various mandates and various crazy nonsense here in the United States. Today likely is the day that the Supreme Court will actually issue a ruling, as they updated their calendar the other day to say that today is going to be an opinion issuance day. I covered this a little bit more on the OMB report. Yes, I finally made a video for the OMB report for the first time in forever, so go check out that video if you want more information about that. Anyway, let's dive into the numbers here. So Scream, as it says right here from Anthony over at Deadline. Oh, Anthony, our good friend. He says, Scream looks to pump some adrenaline into post-Christmas pandemic box office. Ah, yes, there it is. Pandemic box office. Ooh, the fear. Are you afraid? You should be at this point, right? Especially for a film like Scream. It says Sony Marvel's Spider-Man No Way Home is expected to cede its fourth weekend #1 run to Paramount and Spyglass Scream over the 4-day MLK holiday, the latter eyeing to take in $20+ million range at the 3,600 theaters. So, this is the assumption. The film that will finally be able to dethrone Spider-Man No Way Home is the 5th iteration of Scream, which, just like with so many other sequels and so many other series this year, the question is, are people really asking for this? Are there fans of the franchise that were really like, you know what we need right now? You know what we want right now? We want another Scream movie. I don't really know a whole lot of people like that, but maybe you are one of them and maybe you're excited. And if you are, hey, more power to you. You might be a part of the $20+ million range they are expecting. And again, this seems to be indicating that it's over the 4-day range that it'll make $20 million, which should spell some trouble for this film as far as its financial future, depending, of course, on how much they actually spent on it. I can't imagine they would have spent that much on it, but we'll have to wait and see. It says there's a shot that Scream goes higher, but will have any lofty predictions in this funky pandemic. Spider-Man dominated box office marketplace to what 18th century economist Adam Smith called the invisible hand. By previous measurements, the best opening for a pure horror movie over the MLK holiday belongs to Universal's Andy Muschietti's directed Mama, which collected $32.1 million back in 2013. I would argue that M. Night Shyamalan's Glass, with 46.5 started in 2019, was more of a thriller. Would you argue that now? In the transition from Paramount studio boss Jim Giannopoulos to Brian Robbins, there's been a lot of chatter out there how the Melrose lot looks to embrace a more streaming future similar to its rivals. And again, that kind of goes ahead into the mindset and the arguments that I've been making for a while now, that theaters really need to start to innovate a bit more because studios are very much eyeing the money, the vast amount of money that can be made from streaming when it is done right. There's already the reports that if you look into the subscriber base to HBO Max and the amount of money it's charged for HBO Max, how much money they're making just every single month from that, which can even help offset terrible years like Warner Brothers had last year. It then goes on here to say the Spider-Man will easily top Avengers Infinity War to become the 5th highest grossing movie of all time stateside, before you adjust for inflation, of course, besting that 2018 picks domestic tally of 678.8. So yeah, you're looking at a film which is expected to be able to get very close to the $700 million range by the end of this weekend. They are projecting the film to have $16 to $19 million this weekend, with a 40 to 50% drop from the previous weekend. So again, another very strong hold is projected here. And this is, again, them expecting the film to only be able to make $16 to $19 million. I suspect that as a holiday weekend, and also as someone who has actually heard a lot of people, including young people, again, in the student sphere, who have yet to see this film, or who love this film so much that they want to see it again, that you probably will have a higher influx of rewatches this weekend, which could actually even bump up this estimate. So I think it's important just to also point out This is coming from Deadline, which again is coming from more of an industry expert standard, whereas Box Office Pro, which also bases its metrics off of that, also does put out their own numbers, which oftentimes will differentiate from the numbers put out by Deadline and even a lot, times from the studios themselves. And Box Office Pro has yet to put those numbers out. They typically wait until like the last minute, obviously, because they're trying to collect as much data as they can before any actual metrics come out, to be very clear about, hey, this is what we expect it to make, and we want to make sure that this is not us, waiting on actual data being reported to make our predictions. And so Box Office Pro, because of that, to me, at least has a little bit more cojones, because they, at the very least, are going to say and go out on a limb to say, okay, these are what we actually think it's going to be, even though we don't have any tickets sold yet at this point, even though we don't have the Thursday estimates. And they, of course, will adjust their numbers accordingly as those numbers come in based on their modeling, based on their projections, which is why I typically go to them first. But as I said, they don't have, as the recording of this video, those numbers yet, but you can check them out if you want to. But as you can see, Spider-Man No Way Home expected to make 16 to 19 million over this 4-day MLK weekend, whereas Scream 5 is expected to make $20 million. Now, one of the issues with Scream, and Scream 5 especially, is the fact that we don't, at this point, at least to my knowledge, know exactly how much this film costs. So let's see if we can do ourselves a little bit of a search live, because again, as we all know, doing searches live is fun. This film's budget was $24 million. So that is actually a lot lower than I thought. I expected to be around $50 million or more, but $24 million budget, very low budget film for a horror film. It's the 5th film in a franchise, which means it's going to be guaranteed essentially to have a fan base that's ready to go see it. As you can see, that this is a direct sequel to Scream 4, which came back in 2011. It's been 12 years since the last film, or no, 11 years since the last film. I can't math. It's been 11 years since the last film came out, and so there might just be enough interest for this to continue going forward. That film made $97.2 million on a $40 million budget, so maybe not. That's not really that impressive, especially compared to the budget. So you can see they kind of cut the budget in half a bit, and that's probably why, and probably because they're expecting the film to do relatively similar numbers at the box office. And if that holds, that they don't even make $100 million, again, they can still make their money back with a lot less with a $24 million budget. But again, this kind of indicates, is there really that much of a Scream fan base out there to push this film out? Now, obviously, this number is also not adjusted for inflation. It's been 11 years, and so this is going to be, in today's dollars, well over $100 million. But I still think it is a worthy notion and a worthy mention that this is a bit of an issue for this film going forward. But anyway, are you excited about Scream 5? Is that something that you are looking forward to? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Do you plan to see the 355, which of course continues to not make any money whatsoever? Do you plan to see Spider-Man No Way Home again? Again, I think that it's probably the better film to go see right now. It's made $2.7 million on the last Tuesday. That's the last number that we have. Sing 2, $781,000. The 355, $518,000. Let's see what its total is right now. $6.3 million. Oh man, $6.3 million. Also, by the way, shout out to the numbers. Look at this. They have a new look coming in 2022. And this is something where I think Box Office Mojo, IMDb, take a lesson from them. Notice how they're changing their interface. However, as they make clear, rest assured, we're not taking anything away. The pages are not changing. They're not hiding data behind a paywall. They're not changing it so much that it looks completely unrecognizable. They're just giving it a nice paint job. This actually looks nice. I like this a lot. They're updating it a little bit. Things look nice. Nicer search menus. I actually tried it out a little bit, and it works really well. It's still in beta, and so there are pages missing in the current iteration. But as they say, they rest assure people that it'll be around. But I can't wait to actually be playing around with the numbers in this much more premium looking format, much cleaner looking format. And shout out to them, because as you all know, they are my go-to for box office tracking. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you like this video, smash that like button, light up that fire button if you're watching over on Odyssey. You're all amazing and beautiful people. And again, thank you for your prayers today, especially. Here's hoping by the time you watch this video, a decision has been made, and the right decision has been made. And again, I will be praying for all other workers dealing with this nonsense throughout the day as well. Anyway, you guys are great. Have a wonderful day, everybody. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my January Patreon Subscribe Star and Locals members. Starting first off with Locals, shout out to Kara Tharp, UAB Mad Dog, Mike Jackson, Biffer DeHobbit, and Robert Barnes. Thank you all very much for supporting me over on the Locals platform. Also a shout out to my Subscribe Star people, UAB Mad Dog, Mike Jackson once again, Storm Tracker, The R, Fast Reaction, Nosferatu Gatsu, Stan 4, John B, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., Dean Heiss / the new number 2, J-Rod the Beer Guru, and ZK Man. Thank you all very much for supporting me over on the Subscribe Star platform. And lastly, to my Patreon supporters, my 30 Patreon supporters over there, animation commentator Brandon, let's go Brandon, Brian P., Christopher Bowman, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you Father, Father Damian Cook, Garrett Searles, Hannibal Grimm, Harold Francis, Inflamed Wood, Jacob Juice, Jeffrey Toon, Joe Horn, Jonathan Carney, Gomer Kyle 79, Lance, Laura, the Modern Major General Story, Mike Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mondo Spieler, Mr. Peabody, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Priscilla Hall, Rosetta Ellen, Stan Andrian, Miss Martin Muses, Theodore Benden, and Tina Bojan, and of course, Tina B, the Empress of the Universe. Thank you all so very much for your love and for your support. And if you want your name shouted out at the end of every live stream and at the end of every video, please make sure that you support me over on a Patreon Subscribe Star or on Locals. Also, you get a ton of other goodies if you support at the Army of Asgard level and above. Starting at the Army of Asgard level, you get access to various giveaways that I do during the month, including various 4K titles. Many of them 4K Steelbook titles, and so if you want access to that, check out the Army of Asgard level on those platforms specifically. You also get access, once you are a Keeper the Bifrost level member, to that, plus a podcast that I do with John the Flick Pick Flickinger, where you actually get to ask us questions, and also, of course, get access to that and the library of previous podcast episodes. We're up to about 33 episodes now that we have been able to do. I think most of those episodes now at this point we've actually done it together, which has been a lot of fun. And of course, you can join at the Chosen of Valhalla live stream, Chosen of Valhalla live stream level, where you get access to not only all of those things, but also you get access to be featured on the channel once a month during the Chosen of Valhalla live stream with the other Chosen members, which is always a lot of fun. Also, during your first month, you get a free t-shirt sent anywhere in the world. You just let me know your size. Let me know the t-shirt that you want from the store over on Teespring or on TeePublic, whichever you prefer, and I will gladly send that out to you if you're at that level. Anyway, you guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, God bless.